Hello everyone, intuitive and astrologer Lisa Salvatore here to talk to you about the solar eclipse new moon that we have taking place on March 29th in the sign of Aries. Before we get into it, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe and smash that bell icon so that you are always notified of new uploads and insights as they come in. And for even deeper insights, consider becoming a subscriber to my newsletter, which is linked in the description box below. I offer a weekly detailed podcast, astrological and predictive, and also some other live streams and things of that nature that are only available to my soul scribers as part of my soul scription. There will also be a message at the end of this video if you'd like to know more about that. It's super quick. Otherwise, thank you for being here and a nice warm welcome to all of my new subscribers and to my existing subscribers. As always, a nice warm welcome back. It is lovely to have you here. Thank you to all who support my channel and my work. You can find all of my links. You can find private sessions, courses, products, all at lisasalvatore.com, linked in the description box below. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So I am recording this video right before the total lunar eclipse that takes place on March 13th or 14th, depending upon where you are in the world. That reading is linked in the description box below, so be sure to go and check that out. So if you haven't already listened or watched that, I would suggest that you stop this video and go and listen there first, just so you don't get overwhelmed. March is a big month. It is eclipse season. The eclipses are upon us. If you do not know your own personal astrology placements, I highly suggest that you stop this video and go and pull up your birth chart for free. You can do so right on my website, lisasalvatore.com, or you can use another free site such as astro.com and note your placements, okay? Print that out. Have a copy of that handy so that you can track these energies for you. The most constructive and empowering use of astrology is when we use it for personal and spiritual development. Knowing where these new moons and full moons and all of these eclipses fall for you is just so impactful and insightful to helping you on your journey here. I have a ton of supportive content to help you to track these energies. Everything is linked in the description box below. So first things first, note where the sign of Aries falls in your birth chart, as that is going to be very significant as it pertains to this specific reading regarding the solar eclipse. This eclipse coming up is a partial solar eclipse, and it is a new moon. It is close to the north node of the moon, the north node currently being in the sign of Pisces. It is also a supermoon. That's a fancy way of saying that this moon is extremely close to the earth. So it's very moony, it's very eclipsy. There's a lot of energy that will be vibrating, that already is vibrating. And as we get closer and closer to the eclipses, and especially in between the eclipses, the energy is so pronounced, it is so electric. We are all feeling it. It's a lot. Be sure you ground yourself, take good care of your body, and pay attention to everything and anything that is coming in and out of your life around these times. New moons are always about new beginnings. This is an Aries new moon. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. New beginnings, blazing new trails forth, new trails forward. It's also a solar eclipse, so it's an even more powerful new moon. Very focused on new beginnings, but of course, before new beginnings, we have to have endings, closures, wrap-ups of cycles. I invite you to reflect back to April of 2023, even more specifically, April 20th of 2023, when we had our first solar eclipse, new moon in Aries at the 29th degree of Aries. This is significant because that was a new moon, a solar eclipse, but it was at the 29th degree, the very last degree of Aries, the anaretic degree. And so that energy was very much focused on powerful endings, giving the way, paving the way to powerful new beginnings. And those new beginnings might not be ready to take shape or form until now. This is all a part of a larger cycle, of a larger story. And that is why it's important to track where Aries falls in your unique astrological chart. So reflect back to April of 2023 when we had that solar eclipse at the 29th degree of Aries and think about what was going on in your reality, what and whom was entering and exiting. For example, perhaps that's a point in your life where you just lost your job or you decided to leave your job, and now there's a beginning of another part of your story as we get to this solar eclipse. Perhaps you left a relationship, a significant relationship, or entered a new one. Where are you right now? A lot has likely transpired from that time period until now. And when you think about it, it will connect. It will connect to your individuality, Aries. It'll also connect to your relationships because the opposite sign of Aries is Libra. And we were also having eclipses in the sign of Libra throughout this time. It's about relationship with self, relationship with others, releasing outdated habits and patterns within relationships that are no longer serving us. And there are powerful endings and beginnings around us, surrounding us at this time. And it's always worth repeating that just because the eclipse takes place on March 29th does not mean that anything climactic has to happen on the 29th. This could be a culmination. This could be a series of events that leads up to this point, and then a new beginning that starts in a couple of weeks from now, because eclipse energy it's an activation. Think about it like an activation, an acceleration of strong energy, stirring things up. Some of those things are existing already, but perhaps they've been dormant or stagnant, and now they're beginning to move. And this will be different for everybody based on your own unique astrology. But the Aries area of your life, of your expression, will be feeling this energy somehow. We all have Aries in our birth chart. We all do. And I will plug that video tutorial one more time, if I do say so myself, because it is very helpful and very detailed for tracking these energies. It's about 15 minutes. It shows you how to pull up your birth chart. It's free, and it shows you how to track these energies. And then, of course, I have other paid content that goes into much more detail, if you're interested. But I put this content out to support you. I want you to be able to empower yourself through your own personal astrology. That's my goal. So recap, reflect back to April 2023, even more specifically, April 20th of 2023. And then April 8th of 2024, we had another solar eclipse in the sign of Aries. So track back to that point if you can. Take some time to reflect upon your progress. Take some time to reflect upon what was coming in and out of your life, and reflect upon how far you've come. As this is also a powerful new moon, you can certainly set intentions for constructive new beginnings, abundant new beginnings. For some, this could feel like rising from the ashes, putting yourself back together, becoming a whole new version of oneself, and doing it for you, Aries, the sign of self. This is about blazing new paths forward and the wrap up of old storylines, making way for new ones that are much more supportive and authentic to who we are today. This new moon falls at 9 degrees of Aries. 9 degrees is the first decan of the sign of Aries, which means it's the first third of the sign of Aries. And this particular degree of Aries is associated with the tarot card, the Two of Wands. This is a fire energy. This is a creative energy. This is an expressive energy that shows us that there are always options. Yes, fate is extremely real, and eclipses are often accelerators of fate. They stir it all up. They present us with opportunities, but there's also that free will component. Where do we go next? I often refer to this card as the "Which way do I go, George" card, because either option can be very constructive, can be very abundant, but we just have to be confident in our own agency, which is such a strong theme and message of the sign of Aries. To be fearless with the pursuit of what sets your soul on fire and to confidently move in that direction. That's another big word for Aries, confidence. To go boldly where you know your soul wants to go, even and especially if it requires you to leave a part of self behind. All very pronounced around this solar eclipse new moon. If you work with gemstones, the gemstone that I have chosen for this new moon solar eclipse is Lepidolite. Lepidolite is a beautiful purple stone. It is very soothing to the soul and the spirit. It helps to calm the mind. It helps to calm the emotions. And most importantly, it helps to support us throughout times of change and transition, which is coming up in spades right now, both personally and collectively. Feel free to visit otterspirit.com. They have amazing, authentic gemstones. You can shop with my unique customized link and you can receive a discount. You can also use code LisaSalvatore20 at checkout. You can shop by intention. In fact, I am wearing my Intuition bracelet pack. It's green aventurine, purple fluorite, and moonstone, but they have so many different stones, and I'm pretty sure they have lepidolite, so feel free to check them out. Before we get to the chart, I just want to quickly mention, I'm recording this video, it's March 11th. I'm not sure when I'm going to get it posted, but it's being recorded on March 11th, which is right before the total lunar eclipse we have taking place on March 14th. This is before the solar eclipse on the 29th, obviously. So by the time you watch this, we will probably be well entrenched into eclipse season. We're right between eclipses. But more than that, on March 20th, the sun will enter the sign of Aries and we begin the astrological new year. Once again, Aries is beginnings, new beginnings, a very fresh start. And this initiates the season of spring in the northern hemisphere and the season of autumn in the southern hemisphere. So it is the equinox. This is a celestial turning point, a spiritual marker. And it's a time that is always turbocharged energetically. Now, the eclipses do not always fall right at this point, okay? So this is very significant. This is not a coincidence. It's very strong, powerful energy, which just further amplifies the new beginnings and the powerful endings, the transformations that are occurring around these times. Our physical bodies are absolutely feeling these energies incoming. So remember to take really good care of yourself, drink your water, purify your body, purify your mind, purify your spirit. Stay away from that which insults your soul or that doesn't feel right for you. Unsubscribe from the drama in your life that's just not serving you, and do this with confidence and do it with love. I have mentioned in other readings prior, and I always go deeper into this with my subscription when I do my weekly podcast, that the weather across the globe is absolutely wild, and that will definitely be amplified as we move closer and closer towards this eclipse at the end of the month. Prayers go out to those that are being affected by these destructive weather patterns and weather situations. Let's get to the chart. Here we see the sun and the moon at 9 degrees of Aries, perfectly aligned, which is how we have a new moon. We've got Mercury very retrograde at this point at 0 degrees of Aries. A lot of information coming out around this eclipse, specifically on the world stage. There could be new policies, new people coming out onto the scene. There will likely be big reveals at this point. That 0 degree of Aries is big. When anything is at 0 degrees of Aries, it's a big deal. It's indicative of new beginnings, it's indicative of reveals, power struggles, leadership, etc. And Mercury being the planet of communication, and retrograde can just make that a little bit more messy. It can also mean that whatever is revealed around this eclipse, both personally and collectively, will have to be revised or looked at a later date because this is a bit of, messy energy here. So it may not be 100% the way that it's announced, let's just say. So it will have to be retracted or looked at later, revised. So if you hear something that you really don't like, don't spiral yet because there will be more to follow, more news to follow. It might not be exactly as it seems at this time. We have Neptune here at the 29th degree of Pisces. This is a very big deal. We've got a monumental shift. One of the transits that makes 2025 such a benchmark year is the Neptune transit because Neptune will enter the sign of Aries right at the tail end of this eclipse on March 30th. So we're going to get a glimmer of the new that is coming in, collectively speaking, and also personally by where Aries falls in our chart and also the later side of Pisces. So you're going to want to check that out. I go into much more detail about this Neptune transit in my 2025 forecast, which is linked in the description box. But the last time Neptune was in Aries was back in 1861. So Neptune will enter Aries on March 30th, but will only be there for a few months before Neptune retrogrades back into Pisces. So think of like July through October as us collectively getting a glimmer of what could be coming up and out on the world stage. This is further amplified by Pluto's entrance and now permanent stay in the sign of Aquarius for the next decade plus, close to 2 decades. And then Uranus entering Gemini in July. So there's a lot going on here. And again, I go into much more detail about that in the 2025 forecast, but change is the name of the game. Neptune here at the 29th degree, Neptune rules over water. Neptune is the god of the seas. Neptune is the planetary ruler of the sign of Pisces. So Neptune's quite comfortable in Pisces, but that doesn't always mean that it's good because we've got the shadowy end of the Neptune Pisces energy as well. Weather-wise, this is where we're seeing a lot more flooding, a lot more wet weather. There could be a lot of information coming out regarding medicine, regarding toxins and pollutants in our environment. Import-export by the sea. Neptune rules the sea. Ships, boats, marine life, fish in general. This is all Pisces, and this is at Neptune at the 29th degree. So information and news around these areas would not be surprising. Water surges. I've been saying this since last year. Tighten things up, especially if you're right near the water, right near the coast. It won't hurt. With all of this Pisces energy accompanying this eclipse, there's a lot of positivity here as well for spirituality, for deepening existing spiritual practices, for tapping in and trusting our own intuition, connecting to our own divine self. There could also be information coming out regarding a spiritual leader of some sort, a world spiritual leader. This could have to do with the churches, organizations such as that. Rose-colored glasses coming off involving one or more individuals in your life. This could be personal for you. This could have to do with a relationship, or it could be much bigger, on a much bigger scale on the world stage. But this Pisces posse over here, as I like to call it, Neptune, Venus, the North Node, and Saturn, there's a really strong energy of dreaming about what's possible and then putting it into reality. There's a groundedness to the dreaminess as well, and that's really nice. That's really helpful. Trust your intuition. Intuition is lit right now. The dream space is so colorful. It has been for months, but it will be really increased around this eclipse, all month long, all month of March, actually. We've got Mars here at 22 degrees of Cancer, direct. Mars has been in Cancer since forever. I'm just kidding. Mars has been in Cancer since September, but it has felt like a really long time. Mars briefly dipped into Leo in November, and then in December, Mars stationed retrograde and moved back into Cancer. But now Mars is full steam ahead at 22 degrees of Cancer. And Mars is in a supportive aspect to all of this Pisces energy here, which brings in discipline and focus and determination to get the job done, whatever that job is for you. Albeit, it will feel very emotional and cranky at times. Oh, and also note that if you are an Aries, Capricorn, Cancer, or Libra, or if you have any of your points or placements in any four of the cardinal signs, Capricorn, Cancer, Aries, or Libra, and even more specifically, if any of those placements fall between 6 and 11 degrees of any of those cardinal signs, you will really be feeling this solar eclipse energy. And I highly encourage you to think back to how much has changed for you and all that has occurred since 2023, since April 2023, when we had that first solar eclipse in the sign of Aries. But for everyone, this is going to be felt. Pluto is here at 3 degrees of Aquarius, and Pluto is in a supportive aspect to this solar eclipse and also to Mercury. And Mercury is retrograde. So there will be communications, and there is the potential for there to be transformative and deep communications that help to really change the trajectory of a situation or a relationship. It may cause the ending of something, which will then make way for a new beginning, that rising from the ashes energy that Pluto is known for. We have a little bit of tension here, and I do feel that this will play out all across the world. This is not just restrictive to the US. We have Mars here at 22 degrees of Cancer. And Mars is making a square aspect, which is dynamic tension, okay? A square aspect to Chiron, exactly at 22 of Aries, and Eris at 24 of Aries. Eris in mythology is the sister to Mars. This is fighter spirit, warrior spirit, war energy in general. This is about standing up for what we believe and fighting for what's right, fighting for equality. There's a strong energy of justice attached to this. This is about everybody being able to have their own voice, have their voice be heard. And in the sign of Aries, the sign of individuality, that's going to feel really important right now. And also potentially contentious. This could also pull focus onto where you may feel inadequate. An emotional wound that you hold, that you've carried with you for a really long time, that you're ready to do away with, that you're ready to release. So Mars is squaring Eris and Chiron, and then this Eris-Chiron, because they're a package deal here, Eris and Chiron are opposing Black Moon Lilith at 22 degrees of Libra. Now, Black Moon Lilith is not a planet. Black Moon Lilith is a calculation. It's a point in space. But Black Moon Lilith represents the side in all of us that we do not necessarily give airtime to because we don't feel there's some sort of sense of repression surrounding this for some reason. And in the sign of Libra, this is about rights and justice, which definitely connects to the message of Eris, especially Eris and Aries, and especially Eris aligned with Chiron, and in this contentious aspect with Mars. People are feeling fired up. They want to fight. They want to fight for what's theirs. They want to protect what's theirs. So Black Moon Lilith is opposing this Chiron-Eris alignment, which is then squaring back to Mars, and Mars is squaring Black Moon Lilith. So all of this to say, women's rights, family rights, insurance, digital currency, the finances, world finances, all of this is going to be hot topic around this eclipse. A lot of it already is, but there will be information and news coming out around this time in one or more of these areas and potentially all at once. Don't forget, Neptune is at the edge of Pisces, so we are at the precipice of major new beginnings, collectively speaking, pioneering the way forward much differently than what we've known before. Pluto in Aquarius, this is all about the future of technology, the future of science, the future of money. In my lunar eclipse video, I go a little bit more into that. I show you the chart of the US, so be sure to check that out. We have Saturn here in an inconjunct or the quincunx to Black Moon Lilith, which is just this misunderstanding or not being happy or comfortable with orders being thrown around or new rules being implemented. And this could also be playing out in your personal life. somebody in a position of authority, or somebody trying to be in a position of authority over you or telling you what to do, you're not going to want to hear it. You're going to want to have your voice. You're going to want to dig your heels in. And in most cases, that's what you're supposed to be doing. Big reminder of Aries energy is that you are your own agency. You are your own savior. The shadow side to all of this Pisces energy is that there can be this tendency to fall into a victim mentality or a space of escapism, or just putting our head in the sand, burying our head in the sand and saying, you know what? I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to let life happen to me. But you know what goes with the current? Dead fish. In this instance, you really don't want the current to take you. You either want to swim with the current or swim against it, but do something. Or else the eclipse will do it for you, because that's what eclipses do. Positively speaking, Uranus is in a sextile to Saturn. This is a helpful aspect. Now, as of March 13th, Uranus is at 24 degrees of Taurus, and Uranus will remain at this 24th degree until April 8th, I believe. So if you have anything around the 24th degree of Taurus, especially Scorpio, Leo, or Aquarius, pay attention to that, because you're receiving a Uranus transit, and this is where we can have some disruption to the status quo. But I like to think of this as supportive chaos, as changing things up. And because of this eclipse, that will be amplified. We also have fixed star Alganib right here, exactly aligned with this solar eclipse, new moon in Aries. Alganib is the Arabic word for the side or the wing. This fixed star sits in the constellation of Pegasus. It's the tip of the winged horse's wing. In highest vibration, this fixed star Alganib can represent honors and riches. It's really strong for mental agility, mental quickness. It's also really constructive and conducive towards spiritual growth, an acceleration of our soul's lessons, of our soul's mission. And in the sign of Aries, again, this is about being your own leader, having that determination, having that ambition, and following through with it, not falling into a space of laziness or inertia out of fear. This is also a time dedicated toward innovative thinking and being able to see beyond what's just in front of us. That's why we've got all of this Pisces energy. The North Node is currently in Pisces, which is a very strong reminder that we have to have faith in the unseen. There is a higher power, there is a higher order, there is a divine order to everything that happens. And there are more and more souls that are genuinely waking up to that. I know just from how many people that I work with. I like to joke and I always say I take the woo and I make it practical for you. But I really do try to do that, because there is a very grounded and down to earth side of life, of course. But there's also the side that doesn't have the logic. This is where energy just is. Everything runs off a frequency, including us. So quieting your mind, allowing yourself to have peace of mind, getting outside into nature, turning off your devices, tuning in requires turning down. You can't hear the messages from your own intuition, from the seat of your soul, when there's too much outer noise. We know that. It's not possible. With the North Node in Pisces and the South Node in Virgo for the next couple of years, we are collectively and personally moving into letting go of the outdated modes and patterns of obsessive thinking and self-criticism, and moving more into a space of open-mindedness when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to faith, and leaving behind, or trying to leave behind, more of that fear-based thinking, and trying to move more into trust and surrender and flow, which is a very strong energy of Pisces. But we have to find the balance between, checking out and ignoring reality, and then also moving into the spiritual self. I'll bring it back to something that I always say. We are all souls here having a human experience, not the other way around. This vessel that we have, the body, is the spacesuit for the soul. Oh, and before we go, backtracking for a moment, Venus retrograde is also going to have her Cazimi on the 22nd of March. This is where Venus meets up with the sun, and is a very significant point of the Venus cycle where we can receive clarity when it comes to relationship, when it comes to love, when it comes to connection, when it even comes to our money. If you want to know more about that, just go and check out my Venus retrograde reading, which I will also link in the description box below. I'll stop this here because I'm going all over the place, typical Gemini rising. But there's always so much to talk about. There's always so much going on. So if you appreciate this content, like, share, and subscribe, leave a comment, pop over to my newsletter. Everything's in the description box below. Take really good care, and I'll be back soon. Bye. Hello, everyone. Warm wishes for a happy and healthy 2025. I am so excited to be here with all of you, all of my beautiful subscribers, and to continue to put out supportive content. I will continue to give you astrological and intuitive updates. My channel will not be changing. I will be doing new moon and full moon readings, along with some insights through the signs, monthly astrological and energetic updates, astrology updates overall, and some more how-to videos, readings on current events, etc. None of that will change. That will also be here on my channel, but I am excited to roll out a few new options for 2025. Here on YouTube, I now have a membership. That membership is $7.99 a month. You do not have to join the membership, but you can if you want to. And with that membership encompasses is obviously all of the general free content that is out there and will continue to be out there, but with more exclusive content. So every Sunday, I go live and I give the astrological and energetic forecast for the upcoming week. And we have some spiritual chit chat there. There's a live chat. Now that is going to be sent to you with the YouTube membership by recording. If you wanted to be a part of the live stream, I have another subscription, which is based on Substack, which is where I have my newsletter and where I am the most interactive. And that will also be linked in the description box below if you're interested in that. But the Substack membership is $10 a month, okay, to be transparent, or $100 per year. And every Sunday, I do go live and I give the astrological and energetic update and forecast. And it's, like I said, it's interactive and I answer questions. And then monthly, I do a live Zoom where I go into more details for each month, readings through the signs. And in those monthly lives, there's also the opportunity to be read, both astrologically and psychically, combination of the two. That is with my Substack subscription. That is with my newsletter subscription, to be clear. The YouTube subscription, the one that is $7.99 a month, you will get the recordings of everything that I do on my Substack newsletter. To join the YouTube subscription, all you have to do is go right to my homepage and just click join. And once again, thank you to all of my amazing subscribers. I'm so thankful and grateful to each and every one of you. I'm also grateful that I get to provide this content, and I really hope that it supports you on your spiritual journey.